Good evening, Celtics fans, NBA fans, 2022 NBA Finals. And we have NBA Finals MVP 1981 with us, Cedric Cornbread Maxwell. Cedric, you've been as much everywhere as the players have been. I've seen you all over the court after the post game. I'm soon going to see you doing press conferences. You were on
Nick
Stephen A.
Joe, hold on a minute. Nick Joe, so when the hell did you start calling me Cedric?
Never. Matt, I've never called you Cedric in my life.
First time, I'm like, what in the hell? Nick Joe,
what do I call you, Max?
You're supposed to be my friend, and now you go Matt. Normally you call me Max or some other derogatory something, but right now this Cedric Maxwell. Hey Cedric, let me ask you something.
So wait, I got to tell you, Max. I know you know, but I don't know if the listeners know. When I first started to cover the team back in like 2009 or whatever, I used to get nervous because Cedric was one of my heroes growing up. And he always looked like he was smiling, but when I see him at the games, it was afterwards. I'd be like, I can't bother this guy. Then I started getting ballsy. I'd be like, hey, Cedric. He would not look, no nothing. 2, 3, 4 games were out by Causeway Street. I see him, and I'm like, I gotta introduce myself to this guy. I had his poster growing up. So I go, yo, MVP. Turned right around. That was it.
That'll do it. That might be somebody who really knows me, so I'll give you that.
Yeah. So what's going on?
All right, Nick. So what do you really want to know about this series and what's going on?
Yeah, I want to know. Are they going to keep
before I turn this into an interview that I'm interviewing you?
Yeah, I'd love that.
What do you want? Really, what do you want to know?
I want to know everything that's in your head, Max. How the hell did it become 120-108 by the end of that game when going into the fourth quarter, it looked like the Celtics were dead and gone?
Well, I think if you've looked at the Celtic team during the playoffs, you have to realize that this team has been bouncing back. This team is battle-tested, man. Yeah. And when I mean that, you look at what happened with them. Okay, you forget about the whole thing about playing Brooklyn. But, remember what Ime said more than anything. Ime said in the beginning, and he said, look, we're not ducking anybody. And because of that, I think this team has had confidence. Look what happened to them playing the defending world champions, the Milwaukee Bucks. They play them tough, and they had some games they should have won. They lose those games. And the 6th game going back to Milwaukee, you're going, ooh. Now, this is going to show me something. Beat Milwaukee in Milwaukee, didn't have to come back and beat them in the 7th game in Boston. Then you have a tough series against Miami. You give away a couple of games. The 6th game is in Boston. You think it's all joy and everything is going to happen. And then all of a sudden you lose that game. And you're down in that game. And then you have to go to Miami in a 7th game series, the 7th game, to win it. So this team has been battle tested. And you look at the game the other day, Steph Curry starts that game off, breaks a NBA record shooting threes in the first in a quarter. And you would thought that the Celtics weren't, but this team has always been resilient. And they did it essentially without Tatum playing well. And I've said that, you and I have talked about it before. If Tatum is the player that I think he is and that Celtic fans want him to be, then he is the kind of guy that he doesn't have to score the ball, but he has to have an impact. I played with the great Larry Bird in the Houston series where Larry didn't really score the ball well. I think I might have scored more points than Larry during that his first championship game against the Rockets. But what he did was he rebounded his ass off, and he had assists. He might not score as well, might have 15, 16, 17 points, but he had 15 rebounds. He had 12 assists. So Jason Tatum had to have his impact in that game, and he did it kind of strangely by having 13 assists in that game, which was unreal.
I think he didn't have a triple-double, but I think he's had one in his whole career, and here – Game 1 of the NBA Finals, it was on track to get a triple-double. And I feel the same way, Max, as somebody who, admired all you guys back in the day. And Larry, obviously, I see there's similarities there. And I think Jason is figuring that out. I know during the down period of the season, I was saying he's got to watch some footage of Bird not in his prime, in the twilight of his career when he couldn't score anymore, how he was still effective to be able to pass and rebound. And here you saw it. Now they're throwing crazy defense at him. So how does Ime, wiggle him open, or are they just going to continue the same game plan? You think?
Why are you trying to change your game plan when you just beat a team at home?
I'm not. I'm asking.
And like what Jason Tatum said, he said, no, I didn't score well. I'd love to score. But he said, if you could tell me I could win 3 more games and get a championship ring, I'm all in. That is what this is about. I just saw Rob Williams walking downstairs a minute ago, and I said, man, how you doing? He said, man, I felt like I had to get off my feet because my back started hurting. I said, man, please get off your feet. You got 3 more games that you need to win this year, and you become a world champion, so you become a legend for life, something that most players don't get the opportunity to do.
Especially at his age and at this point in his career. I mean, how many people are blessed to have this opportunity? And he has such an impact on the game. It's profound. Max, we have the guys from San Francisco. Your co-host is going to be here. And there's the face, Bobby Manning. I know you
can't believe it. Dropped off Joe Sway first, and I'm here before him. This is, I don't know what he's doing.
That's not a shock. Come on.
Wow, what a surprise that is. You dropped off Joe Sway, and he's not here on the cash in. It's me, you, and Nick. Okay, cool. All right.
What's going on out there, Bobby?
We actually, I'm glad you guys are talking about Robert Williams, because Joe Sway and I were just filming a segment about him. I thought you stack up all the stories from last night, he's probably pretty far down the list, but he was enormously impactful. All the block shots, the minutes he gives you, it's like how much can you get per minute from him? Because he's limited. He's not going to be able to play 35 minutes. But if you get 80% of Rob for 15 minutes, that's incredibly effective. And he was a deterrent out there. Made me think, I was actually talking in the video we did a few minutes ago. Before he got hurt, if I had to pick the defensive player of the year, it wouldn't have been Marcus Smart. It would have been Robert Williams. And you saw why out there. He's just he shuts down the paint. You can't get access to the paint when he's on the court.
Well, and I think that's one of the problems you look at in this particular series for Golden State. They're going to have to find a way to score in the paint. And as much as they've been the Splash Brothers, they are the layup brothers, because they get more of their points around the rim with just layups, cutting back door. I was talking to Jalen Rose, and who's an analyst right now for ESPN, and we were talking after the game, and he said, one of the problems right now that Golden State is going to have is their bigs don't score the ball. And he was talking about Looney. He was talking about Draymond. And because of that, Al Horford's able to sit back and kind of lick his chops on the defensive end, help out all over the place. But you couldn't do that against Miami, and you definitely couldn't do that without Giannis. So you were really tired during that game. But because of the non-scoring of the front court,
can we talk about Draymond, Max?
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know if you heard his comments. I'm sure you did by this point. It said that the Warriors dominated.
Yeah.
Said that the Warriors dominated this game for 40 minutes. I think he said actually over 40 minutes in this game.
Okay,
well,
Bobby,
I'm watching.
What does that get you? A piece of bubble gum and a ride down to the pier? I mean, you dominated for how many? And you're saying, oh, you lost?
You know what that gets you, Max? An 0-1 deficit, a 1-0 deficit.
They give you a balloon or something after you get through talking about it? I mean,
well, not only that. He starts this game 1 for 10. He's jacking jump shots, and he's not guarding Horford. And you're gonna come out of this game saying, "Oh, we dominated." Look at this. Look at the stat line. What domination's going on there?
I think he was just kind of the thing that for me, and I realize who Draymond is. He's a great player that fills in a gap for this particular team. He might not work for other teams, but he works for this particular team, Golden State. But I was a little annoyed with one of his comments when he said, look, Al Horford went, whatever. And then he was talking about White went, and then Marcus shot this. And I think he was saying they were 15 or 20 from the 3-point line. Like,
look at his stat line, Max.
Then he just did he did like this. I'm like, really? I said, your best bet right now is to be humble and say, look, we have to win this next game. That's all it boils down to. If they don't win this next game, this series is over.
And that's motivation, Max. I mean, you're giving a team that already has this emphatic win after game one more motivation. And I think the Celtics were pretty doubted coming into this series. Almost everybody nationally is picking the Warriors, so I'm sure they use that as some motivation.
Hey, hold on. Hey, Nick, go to your bookie now and change your freaking bet, okay? Because Nick Gelso had the Warriors winning in 7.
How are you feeling about that, Nick?
6. I had them winning in 6 on the Boston Parquet. That'd be the second team.
How you feel about your money line now, buddy?
All right, I'll do the apology cam without it because I don't know where it is on the dashboard.
I didn't say you need apology cam.
How am I feeling about it? I got to change.
Your freaking
You're already apologizing one game?
Yeah, because I want to tell you why. No, I'm changing, and I'm not one for this, Bobby. I know you how many years, Max. Max will say I'm a flip flopper. Bobby, I'm not a flip-flopper, am I? I admit when I'm wrong.
Yes.
Okay.
Maybe too soon in this case.
I may not be wrong, but here's what's changing my tune. Not the comeback, although that was phenomenal, to steal your word, Bobby. Not the comeback.
That's $5.
It was more and this has been the team. This has been the case all season for me. What goes on after the game, during the press conferences, is kind of what steers me. And I'm looking at a team that is motivated. All I heard was team. Jason had a terrible game. He said everything right. Bobby, when we were nitpicking his use of the word "the" in December, you know what I mean? We were nitpicking everything.
Nick, let me ask you this while you're talking. What is a terrible game when you have 13 assists and your team wins?
No, he was. Listen, he had a terrible shooting game. If I said he had a terrible game, I take it back because I think he had his best game of the playoffs because he did what we've been begging him to do, which is do everything else. So I don't care if he scores. He proves that the Celtics can win with him having a low scoring effort if he's getting everybody involved. But the other telltale sign for me is what you guys were just talking about. The Golden State Warriors have really shocked me with how they have been so showing their cards. They've been glib.
I got the word for you, Nick, right now. Flippant.
Very flippant. I was going to say flippant. Crass kind of.
Well, whatever.
These little kids are not scaring me. That's how they've basically been. We've been here before. We can win this. And yes, be confident. But arrogance then breeds complacency. And I think that's the fourth quarter. They looked like they got punched in the face and didn't know what the hell was going on. And Max, I think like you smell blood. I could see it on Cornbread right now. He won't say it, but he smells blood. He's been here before, and you know when you got him. And I think we got him. I think I have to change my bet.
I'd say what I like about this is that I think that they defend.
Yeah.
And because the Celtics defend the way they do, I think that the Golden State's going to have to find another way to score. Poole has to obviously play better because he didn't play well at all. And I was talking to a couple of people. Matter of fact, who was who called the game last night?
Mark Jones, right?
Mark Jones. I actually saw Mark Jones just a minute ago at the Cheesecake Factory. And, I'm always
getting a slice.
Someplace. I was always getting some information, and then he was telling me, he said, "You know what? If the Celtics shoot like this, they might as well wrap the trophy up." And I agree if they can shoot like that, and I don't think they can. But man, Derek White was unreal.
Yeah. Wow.
I mean, the one shot that the backbreaker in that game to me was the one where the ball was stagnant. Steph Curry was on him. The shot clock was going down, and he pulled up, and he just took this long jump shot, knocked it down.
Back-breaking shot, yeah.
And that
was it.
Never again their confidence started to go up, and you could see the body language of Golden State. Their shoulders started to shrivel down.
Yes, and the chewing of the mouth guard a little more, a little harder. You know what I'm saying? Like Draymond's looking around, not saying quite as much. Steph coming out of the tunnel was demoralizing if you're a Golden State fan. He looked
it's funny.
Shattered.
The Celtics have been able to do this in every round. Go after a guy and wear
But
him
what have they
out.
done next, Bobby? The next thing they've done is lose the next game. So Sunday's the key. I mean, they got to put that dagger
Oh
in.
my God, please, Nick. Just the sky is falling, Penny. Okay, Penny Little. Okay, that's what they call it. God Almighty. It's like, look, here's what the Celtics have to do: continue the course, play defense, and let the Golden State Warriors make mistakes. And I think what they need to do, what the Celtics definitely have to do, is guard the three-point line, especially when Steph is out there. There were at least about 5 times, Bobby, that I saw in that game.
Yeah.
Steph was nobody
that was unreal.
was within 5 feet of him. And you're not going to win those kind of games if you let the best shooter in the planet stand behind the line and chunk them up.
I couldn't believe that happened. It was like they never watched the Warriors play in their lives. They're like, who is this guy? Just let him shoot.
On True Garden Report style, we're 30 minutes in, and we were late. So True Garden Report style, we're 20 minutes in, and we've yet to mention Jaylen Brown. Brown, go.
He was the X factor. He was the guy that actually got them going. When they were down 12 points, I think he was involved in about 12 points in a row. I know one with the long 3-point shot. Then he had another little fall-away jump shot. Then they had another one drive towards the basket with the left hand. And then he set up Rob with another one going towards the rim for a little layup. If he plays that way, what a difference it is between him and Steph Curry. And not Steph Curry, but I actually mean Tom. Klay Thompson. Because if he outplays Klay, the Celtics really have that much more of an advantage because they need to have, Klay at least surpassing, if not challenging anything that Brown does. And Brown really dominated that position last night.
Klay doesn't defend like he used to, and I think they have to keep running him, keep moving him, keep banging him. No, I didn't sound good. You know what I mean. keep running them. Keep running them. Oh, boy. Just as Joe Sway pops on the screen. Yo, buddy.
What are you guys talking about over here?
That's the same line that, and I guess I need to address that at the Miami celebration.
We got to go there.
I was standing there, and as I give the first award out, and obviously, I'm pretty adamant. And then Lisa Salters, I think, was standing there.
Yeah, that's the one that got me.
And the thing I said, she asked me the second question when I was giving out the Larry Bird Award, the MVP, when I gave that out. And I said, girl, it is good being back on top.
Yeah, that's what
it was.
Who the hell am I talking to her about being on top? No.
Oh, yeah.
I'm talking about the dog. How would I be in a national televised game of saying something like that
it's
to
good
a woman?
To be on top.
It's good to be. It's good, girl. It is good to be back on top. And I was referring to the Celtics getting back to the finals.
No, the back. Well, you said back though. That's key. You said back on top. It is. Yeah.
The what?
Yeah, you said back on top, but that implies you've been on top before.
Yeah.
Max puts his foot in his
let's
mouth
stop
again.
this now. This might get bad.
Exactly, Nick.
Nothing good's going to come from this.
Good being back on top. All right, let me say it. I've been on top twice in my life, okay? And I won the championship. And I watched the Celtics be back on top again. I like Ryan Windhorst. Is that his name? Brian Windhorst.
Windhorst.
He asked me, and I let you guys in on a little thing. He asked me, he was doing something with on the Lakers and Celtics going back and forth. And he was talking about, well, if you anything, we're going back and forth, but right now you guys are tied with the championships. And I told him, he said, you have anything to say? I said, yeah, after we win this championship, tell James Worthy to smell the smoke that's coming from my ass.
Remember when he was dancing around in L.A.? I got that cornbread ass. He was going, I got that ass.
I want to know how many times.
Nick, that was the last time he celebrated this season.
Oh, it really was. And he really went all out.
I'm not exaggerating.
I know. He was must-see TV.
I want to know how many times LeBron has tweeted this postseason because he That's been his hobby since basketball ended. He
Yeah, it
just
has.
fires
Well,
away.
he has to have his name on everything, LeBron. I mean, I like LeBron now. You know, this was 10 years ago. I'd go on a rant. But he has to have
These playoffs have been really good without him, Nick.
Oh, so Nick, you
they have
everywhere.
You like the seasoned LeBron, huh? You like that? I feel like he's been more talkative and giving people the prop because he's realizing this is probably the fourth quarter of his career. You know, it's probably like the last 5 minutes in the fourth. You know, 3 or 4 years. You know, so I think he's starting to realize that he wants to give people their due, but he also wants to get back. You know, he's saying that this is the last time he'll miss the playoffs. So we'll see.
I gotta say, not having him around in the postseason, not just because he's a bear to play, but also because of the way the style of play, like the foul calls constantly. I don't miss that at all. Right. I'm glad.
Yeah, but I'm sure you'd love one more chapter of Celtics and Lakers, especially with LeBron in the middle. Man, that'd be fun.
Dude. I mean, and that's what I want to talk about, Josue. I was here. We got 4 guys. One guy who lived it. The other 2 who are living it, observing it. Me living it, observing it. I love that the Lakers are home, but yet they're still in the narrative.
Why? Wait a minute, gentlemen. How the hell can the Lakers get back to the finals anytime soon? I mean,
not happening.
I mean, I know I keep saying I'm a broadcast for maybe about 5 or 6 more years. How do they even get there? I mean, because they gave all the assets away. What they did essentially, they sold their souls to the devil to win that championship. They got rid of they went and got Anthony Davis. Anthony Davis comes up. They give all those assets away, all those young pillars that were going to be good players. And you think about you think about Ingram, being one of those players that, Alonzo Ball. You can go on, Kyle Kuzma.
Kuzma is a big one.
They had a bunch of young, fascinating players, but
a good supporting cast. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, you get
them all out.
Yeah.
You get a championship out of Davis, so that's fine. The rest
that's a champion. That's a half championship. That's less of a championship than the Cousy Trophy.
No. But the Russ thing made no sense. The Russ part was what made no sense. I mean, all the guys they traded were champions at that point. They had helped LeBron and Davis win that title.
KD and Kyrie.
How was Russ going to help? I just never understood how Russ was going to help.
Yeah.
And
Max called this one. Stats, man. He called that one.
People look at stats, and me and Josue did it on my podcast, and we talked about it. He said, people look at stats. He's a triple-double machine. Matter of fact, he's a quadruple-double machine because he's going to get internal.
The turnovers.
Most hollow stats.
So you can look at those stats, and some people will equate and put those together. And I remember talking to Darvin Ham before who now is the head coach of the Lakers, and I heard them saying something the other day, saying what he said the other day was they said something about Kurt Rambis wouldn't be able to come in to a practice and put his input in, and that's a great thing for that Lakers. And the thing that Ham told me about it when he got the job, he was about to get the job. He said, "Man, I must have heard from about 10 people." Not one voice, but 10 people. It's like you would hear from the Celtics, you hear from Brad, and then you hear from the owners. But the Lakers, he said, I heard from
Magic
owners, I heard from Magic,
Kurt,
Phil
Jackson,
Kurt Rambis' wife.
The Phil Jackson thing's so crazy. He comes out of nowhere from where does he live? Montana, and he's like, you know what? I like Russell Westbrook.
Yeah, all of a sudden,
only guy in the universe.
Everybody's kissing Jeannie's ass. That's really what it comes down to. They all, and I think they're crazy. That's a death wish. That job. I mean, I don't know how LeBron had no input in this.
No, I'm sure he did with the Westbrook move, but that's the thing, though. I feel like LeBron was going back to the
Westbrook. He pushed.
You're talking about the coach, yeah,
coach.
I don't. You know what? If you're LeBron right now,
but LeBron likes former players.
I think you push as far away from that as you can, because to me, the only coach that would, and I hope Ham does well because I like him, man. He's a great dude. But the only coach I think that could have taken that job like that would have probably been Mark Jackson and got them fundamentally to a place that he could have put those older players and the few younger players he had together and get them playing on the same page. But Mark Jackson probably looked at it like, man, I don't want that job. I don't want that job.
GM.
I want that.
Remember what he's been through too.
Kyrie was on our guy Kyrie was on a podcast saying GM's a real thing. He's in the room. He's He's wheeling and dealing. He's calling his shots.
Who
and
is?
LeBron,
LeBron.
or GM, as you see right here. That's one of my favorite
Late
nicknames.
GM.
GM.
Le GM. Remember
That's pretty good.
Elbow when he had the elbow injury in 2010? Lay Elbow. Remember, Max?
Oh man, we will miss LeBron when he's gone. We will.
I don't know. He's still never going to be gone. He's always going to be like around, kind of like Jordan, maybe. Although Jordan is quiet most of the time.
So?
LeBron's,
You think?
I do. Dude, he is an
he'll
attention
he'll
whore.
be the guy that the All-Star Weekend stuff and the special festivities, and not just
He'll be
All-Star Weekend, but you know what I mean. Like when they bring
constantly.
back
He'll
legends
be
and
at
stuff. But
games.
I don't think he'll be close to the game as like an assistant coach or anything.
Oh, no. I think he's going to be a pain in the ass, like Magic. You know, just around. Like he's just making his presence felt. That's what I think.
I saw Magic last night. That was pretty cool. I got a fist bump from Shaq. So I'm
Nice.
meeting all the legends out
Bobby,
here.
I
And
didn't-
Bobby
you
the
know what?
face.
The funny thing about I did not see Magic last night.
Yeah, he was on TV.
he was on the sideline. He was about to go do some TV.
I did not get a chance to see him. I would have.
You'll see him tomorrow.
Maybe.
I was gonna ask him where Larry
Talk to
is.
him? Where Larry
Game was
is.
Sunday, Nick.
What's today? Friday. I'm not
Friday,
well.
Nick.
Game
Friday.
2 is on Sunday. Yeah.
I've been dying to ask Josue this because he's all locked up. Look at him.
Nope.
How does he get
there's
Brockton Wi-Fi? Brockton Wi-Fi in San Francisco. How does this happen?
You can't make it up.
They brought it with them. Look at his face right now. He looks like Nick. You idiot. That's what he looks like. Here's
This
what
is
I'll
as
ask
good
you
as-
guys. When he comes in, he could tune in.
Well, let
He
me
could
let
chime
me
in.
throw this out there. Let me
Oh,
throw
I
this
have a
out there
I
first,
know, I
Nick.
gotta ask something
See,
here. Go
I
ahead.
thought it
All
would
right,
I'll
go
save it.
unfreeze, and it didn't unfreeze, and then it got worse. I left and came back. Here I am. I'm back now.
That was hilarious.
Brockton Wi-Fi in San Francisco.
Now, just wait.
I saw Matt cracking up.
Your lips are moving, just way, but your words are coming way behind you.
That's not
This
true,
is
man. Don't
unreal.
Go ahead, Bobby. I got a question for Josue then, but go
You're
ahead.
exaggerating.
We'll talk more about this series after these quick words here, but we are brought to you out here in San Francisco by Calm, of course. Calm.com/garden, 40% off a premium subscription. Everybody's
LeBron.
feeling good. Yes, LeBron's on here telling stories,
Let me get me a drink.
lullabying you to sleep. Yeah, there
He's
goes
talking,
Max is
he's
getting
talking.
calm.
Max, yeah, Max is talking.
He's gonna go get calm. We're all
Yep.
gonna get calm here. It's
Max.
easy. Nick, one thing I've noticed after this postseason run, it's easy to feel great after these wins. These fans, the chat, they freak out after the losses, and I could see it. First half
You do
last night,
too.
it's I don't know in moments,
right? Facts.
but first half last night, it's Tatum stinks. Horford can't hit a shot. What's Ime doing coaching?
Bobby, that's
halftime,
called
they're up 2.
Boston sports fans, Bobby. It's been that way as long as I can remember. For
Well,
real.
What
Cliff
Boston needs
jumpers
is
or winning
calm.
the championship?
What Boston needs is calm, then. Everybody in this chat, everybody, the rest of the series, there's going to be some tough games coming up. So trying something new can be intimidating, whether it's meditation, whether it's breathing exercises. There's some yoga in here. Calm is the #1 mental wellness app to give you the tools to improve the way you feel. If you go to calm.com/garden,
Facial
you'll get
expressions.
40% off a premium subscription. That's everything on the app. I use the sleep sounds. Max, what do you do to relax?
I drink Pepsi. That's what
Caffeine.
No, I try to use the sleep apps too. Sleep apps
All
are
right.
good for you. Yeah.
They got
The
something
Calm
got
app,
to bring
I
it
use-
down.
I use
like
the
the-
rain every
I like
single
the
night.
one that sound like the ocean. That's the one
Yeah.
I like.
Me too. That's mine of choice. I live
They
here
got all
on
that
the
on there.
harbor. But I want to ask Josue this as we're back to the game. Check calm.com.
Calm.com/garden, 40% off a premium subscription. Thanks to them.
Josue, how much of Al Horford is him saying "fuck you" to Philly? Excuse my mouth, because they misused him.
A little bit, but I think it's more
a
so
lot.
of him. I think he's trying to prove himself not prove himself. He's trying to show like, hey, I've been talented, and I'm not going to waste this opportunity. You know, I feel like he gets overlooked in that regard, especially with the way the Golden State Warriors defended him in that fourth quarter. They weren't really expecting him to go off the way he did. You know, and obviously we saw what we saw against the Milwaukee Bucks, and we know what he's capable of. But honestly, Nick, I think in the beginning, maybe a little more so. I think it's just him just trying to just legacy, you know, and it'd be one heck of a story
Well, you
for someone to
never
come
would
back
want to
to
go out
Boston
the way he
and
was.
capture
I mean,
a championship.
yeah. Oh, no question.
Well, how about this? If you win, do you bring Al back?
Yes. Yeah, they already
Definitely.
extended him, didn't they?
Because the
He's
contract
He's got 1
is-
year. He's got 1 year left on
he
his
has
deal.
one year left. Are you going to extend that, or are you
Yeah,
just going to play
I
it
think
out?
you take it year by year at that age.
Okay.
The other thing
See,
is, too, he
you know,
got
see-
all his bonuses. They have to
Yeah.
pay him the
No,
bonuses.
he'll get the full 26 million next year. And it's funny, they let him go. I think they wanted to bring him back, but he left for that big contract in Philly.
Good for
Maybe
him.
Danny didn't want to pay him at the time, but
Definitely
you look back
not.
and you would have paid him that at the time if this was what you were going to get out of him.
No.
If this was what
No.
you were going to
Well,
get out
we
of
didn't
him.
know, Bobby. If we had like revisionists, if we could all look back and say this happened, look at COVID.
Well, we
Well, the
knew,
team was at a
we knew
complete-
Al
world,
was
I
a
would have
great
worn a
player.
mask. You know,
We
The
knew
team was at
Al
a
was a
completely
great player last time.
but Al
around.
was 33 years old and trying to get 20, or not trying, but offered 21 million. I was not, or what, 26 million. I was not signing him, matching that deal. Were you, Max?
That's
At that time.
that's a really tricky one because I've always liked Al, and I knew what he could bring to this team. But for me, I think the best thing has happened for Al is to leave and go away.
See it. Yep.
Okay, is because I think now you value him that much more as a player, knowing what he can do, and then two, I think he is going to want to prove that hey, this could be my last rodeo, and I'll talk to him about it. I think even when I gave him the award, a bunch of people were mad at me because I said, okay, I'm giving this trophy right now to the old man Al Horford.
Did you?
Like,
was that your?
what
Was that
was
your
I supposed
choice,
to say?
Max?
I mean, what was I supposed to say? He's a damn teenager?
Yeah.
He's an old man. He's the oldest guy on the team. I'm sorry.
He is.
He does find it funny.
Seasoned
he
veteran,
brings
people
his-
would have said.
Seasoned veteran. He would not, Max. Come on.
No,
But
that's not. I mean, and some people
I'm
were
kidding.
telling me about that. You know, when I spoke, and I got so many different comments, and the one I really loved was when they said some guy said I was cracking him up when I accepted the award, but he said that's what happened when you let your grandpa get a live mic. I thought that was funny, but
The energy was high.
But yeah, exactly. I wanted to be, and I saw Sean Livingston here the other day, and I was trying to get up to him, but I couldn't get to him. But I wanted to say, dude, I wanted to be exactly opposite of what you were when you gave the award out. Because
No energy.
none.
Yeah, I thought he
There
was sad.
None.
He would have been like Michael Felger giving Boston the award.
oh, jeez.
Could you imagine?
So
Guys,
but that's why I was pretty animated. I think somebody else said I was drunk while I was out there, but I was drunk with passion for this team, the way this team was playing, and what they had just done and what they had gone through.
You met the moment. I think you did.
It was feeling the moment for guys who were trying to get over the hump. And could you imagine? This is what I'm not one of these people who lives in this, but if the Celtics had lost, could you imagine the shit that was going to roll down on Marcus Smart? Can you imagine the manure truck that was going to be coming in for him? I mean, it would have been crazy.
Yeah, and Marcus has been interesting because he's going to take those shots he has. They're giving it to him, and he's hit or miss, but I will give him this. The pain he's playing through in these playoffs, the injury after injury he just keeps bouncing back from, him just being out there is effective. Whether he's screening and rolling, whether he's passing and making the right decisions, he calms his offense down. This guy was always underrated as a passer, I thought. And this is one of, to connect it to Horford, Max, they let Horford go. They bring in Kemba. And that was about the third point guard in a row who stepped in and started handling the ball over Smart. And Smart has talked about all year, this is my turn now. I waited about 10 years. This is my turn to be the point guard. I'm the point guard here. I know you had the conversation with him on the elevator.
He may said that. I heard he may said that to me. Because sometimes I'm like the rest of the fans sometimes. get a little crazy when Marcus throws one on behind his neck and between his.
Oh, you see him go behind the back last night?
Behind the back, and he does it, but sometimes he does it and it works. But Ime told me, he said, I talked to Marcus about that, and I said, Marcus, all you have, I'm giving you one of those a game, and when you screw up, Marcus just looked over him and goes to Ime like this. That's the one. So that's the improvement that I've seen. And because of that, he told me, he said, when I got here, he said, Marcus, I'm giving you the keys. You are my point guard. And I think that gave Marcus confidence to confront the other guys and to talk about the way he wanted the ball club to run.
Yeah, and he's done it well. He had that skill set in him the whole time. And last night, found it so interesting, and Ime gave him a ton of credit. They sat him down in that fourth quarter. Pritchard's rolling, Derek White's rolling. They got the 3-guard lineup, and he sits for almost the whole fourth quarter. And you don't see that much nowadays, Max.
But
like
then
the hot hand, leaving the star out.
But what
he's okay with that, right?
He comes in and he closes the show. He
Mhm.
closes the show, man. And I don't think anybody. Those were the same shots. Those were the same shots that he had against Miami, but he just knocked them down. Those were the same exact shots.
Well, Max, he came back in fresh.
Closed the door.
Yeah, he came back in fresh, and the lineup beforehand got things set the stage for him, in that fourth quarter.
Well, it's good shots, and this offense. I don't think it gets
short.
I don't think this offense gets enough credit for how well it passes. I mean, these were the 2 best passing teams in the playoffs coming into the series in terms of assist percentage. So the Celtics, whether they're hitting or missing, I feel like all of their possessions, they're ending in good shots. And it might be Smart missing the 3. It might be Tatum, as it was a million times last night, missing a 3. But they're wide open, and you're going to take those. You're going to take the open look after a good passing sequence. As long as you move the ball, get it inside and out, I feel good, even if they're missing their 3s, if the process is there. And that was kind of the difference early in the year versus later. Derek White early versus recently. Like, they're good shots. Sometimes they don't go down, but you just keep going through that process, and eventually they're gonna. And they came in throws last night.
I'm gonna change the subject a little bit and talk about because I'm a fashionista, and I watched and what Tatum had on yesterday.
Oh, what's that? 2 different outfits?
I mean, I kind of like that. It was
to look at it.
I loved it.
It was
You like it?
Look, for entertainment value. If you
it was entertaining.
If you are a star, if you're a big time star, that works. The average man can't get away with that.
No, I don't know that he got away with it, Max.
A common fan.
But for that,
that's true. The man would look like a magician,
a clown.
Or something. Yeah, you're right.
Did
clown.
any of you happen to see Gary Payton last night?
I did. He was talking.
Yeah. But did you see that he had on a pink sweater?
Yeah.
He might want to see one of them Weight Watching people pretty soon.
Did he gain?
I mean, I'm not the skinniest person in the world, but
you're also 15 years older than him.
He is no longer the glove. He's 2 gloves right now.
I noticed that when he was giving Marcus the award at the Auerbach Center. I did, because they showed a side profile of him, and he wasn't hiding it. He was celebrating that gut, those rolls, like me.
I'll tell you,
the new me, post-COVID.
He's 2 gloves.
Yeah, while we're here, we got 2 guys in San Francisco that's their first time at the NBA Finals. We got a legend here that's played in them, as my dog goes crazy. He's played in the NBA Finals. He was at the first worldwide NBA Finals. Max, what's the difference now compared to then, when in '84? Because '81 was tape delay.
I think there's a lot of differences. One, you're flying on your own plane. When we landed in San Francisco on Tuesday from Boston, we had 13 motorcycles escorting us in from the airport, closing lanes so we could get. So we're flying past people coming in from San Francisco airport. Would have taken a lot longer, but because of
They had a motorcade.
it had a motorcade like it was the president. We had 3 buses coming down the highway. So that starts off. The hotels are different because fans now know where you're at. So the hotel was already lined with people wanting to get autographs.
It's part of the show now.
I just think the bigness is as big as it was when I played. It's even now bigger because I think they involve more former players and more superstars. Like you see Shaq, you might see this person or that person.
Magic.
I would wonder, Josue, this would be you. I would wonder right now if he was still alive, would Kobe Bryant somehow be involved in this?
He'd be there as a spectator at least. Oh, you asked Josue. Go. Josue,
I think he would. The spirit of competition, seeing the Celtics back in the finals, I think he would be. He would absolutely. He would love this. And it's not that far. It's not that far for Tatum.
And for Tatum.
And for Tatum.
Right? I don't know if he'd make the trip to Boston. He would go to. I think he would go to these games for sure.
Oh, 100%. He loves coming to Boston though.
And imagine what the Kobe challenge would be. I bet it would be for Tatum. He would say get to the NBA Finals. Remember, he would do that every offseason. He would challenge players to reach a particular goal. I think he would have set that Tatum for sure to reach the final.
You know what I find interesting too, this whole run, and we've been on the road for this entire run.
Seems like a year, yeah.
So, New York City, you expect Celtics fans to be there. What was round 2, Milwaukee? They got that plane, JetBlue goes out there, so there's some Celtics fans there. But then Miami, still tons of Celtics fans. And now San Francisco, the place is I can't believe how these Celtics fans travel, Max. Like, I don't know, were they following you guys around the country? No, I think people are traveling.
People are traveling now to these games. And I think that's just how it is.
So you think what? Bostonians are traveling to San Francisco?
No. How about this? There was no – and here's the thing. Back during the 80s, you could be a Celtic fan in Philadelphia, but you weren't showing up with no Celtic gear and you weren't chanting – let's go.
Oh, you get beat up.
In the Philadelphia spectrum. You weren't doing that. You were walking out there live.
There'd be more than water bottles raining from the sky.
So guys, now teams aren't afraid to do that on the road. Celtics are the big. I think right now they offend me. They're more arrogant than any other fan base. When I see them coming to an arena and chanting "Let's go Celtics,"
Red would love
it. They do it. I mean, essentially
they overpower the home fans.
Essentially, it is like to me. It's like going to somebody else's birthday party, blowing out the damn candles, and then taking all the damn gifts they give you. That's what the Celtic fans do, and I love it. But it's absolutely it's kind of asinine to me, but I love it.
It is incredible. It is what we are. I think I mean, it's red. It's you guys, Max, and now it's Tatum. It was Pierce. Is Pierce there? How was Pierce not there?
Yeah, I was there.
Pierce is the attention hog.
I know.
He'll be back. No, he'll be in Boston.
He'll be in Boston. I'll tell you this too.
He'll be there for Game 3. I was a little surprised he wasn't down in Miami to receive the trophy when the Celtics won. I was a little surprised he wasn't there then, and I'm a little miffed by the fact that Larry did not come.
Yeah.
I'm a little miffed that KG was only there one time for his.
I think he'll be there.
I don't.
He might be there.
I can see him be there. I would love him to be there, but it's just I'm a little miffed that maybe we haven't had representation of
the alumni.
Group. Like Paul's group has been big.
Yeah.
Paul. Big Baby ain't supposed to be there.
Big Baby.
That Big Baby's breaking the law.
He's breaking the law. He's violating parole. But then you got Eddie House is on
That's
TV.
dedication.
Burke is on TV. They have a great representation of my particular unit, of my group.
I was telling Nick, you never hear the end of that team. I know Rondo got in some stuff recently too. It's like every month there's another headline from that team.
But in from Max's era, it's the most underrepresented because the other eras are dead. I mean, Satch is still here, thank God.
Yeah.
But I mean, your era, Max. Where's McHale? Where Chief? Will he be around?
I mean,
he's Golden State. I mean, he's both teams.
Danny was at a game.
Used
Was
to
he?
see McHale everywhere.
Danny was at the game, and
McHale's not doing the broadcast.
ML Carr might have been at the game, but not a lot of.
I'll tell you.
That
I'll tell you this. Speaking of Danny, and I know we've been over this a couple times. Man, if they win this championship, he's got to get a ring, doesn't he?
Yes,
he's got to get a ring. I mean, he put this team together, top to bottom.
Yes, he did.
Smart.
And the fan base overreacted, but I think it was for the good in the end because it was time.
He had to go. It was time, but he deserves all the credit.
Do you put it? He deserves all the credit. He didn't get Derek White.
And Brad deserves some credit. Here's my thing about Brad.
He didn't get Derek White, and he didn't get Al Horford to come back.
Yeah, he did. He had his fingerprints all over that, Max. Come on,
that's what
he
Nick,
was still there.
Nick has said that a lot.
What?
I don't know. Apparently, Brad and Presti had a relationship, and that was the word on it, is that they kind of got together. And, Al was involved. Yeah, Al had a choice. When he got sat down, they were going to work with him on getting to a destination that he preferred, and he made it very clear that he wanted to get back to Boston. So I think a bunch of people deserve credit on that one.
Which, the turn of events has been since the water bottle, Max.
By the way, 1 year ago yesterday, Brad became GM.
Cool.
Just to that point.
Great. That was a sad day, not because Brad became GM, but because of the looks on all the Celtics brass faces, like deer in headlights when they fired Danny. But listen, end of the day is I don't even know what I was saying.
Isn't that a strong word, fired?
I still don't really know what happened.
Brad really got fired up, Max.
So Danny decided to leave and let Brad take his spot?
Danny had to leave, and
why
someone had to go, Max.
I mean, he was retiring.
Someone had to go.
All of a sudden he's unretired in Utah.
Come on, we all knew he was talking.
Danny might have just said, "Look, here's what I've known about Danny Ainge, and as long as I've known him."
Here comes the truth, guys.
No, this
here
is
comes
the
the
truth.
100. Here comes
the 100.
This is keeping on the 100. Joe Swift said, Danny Ainge always has a plan.
Yeah.
And he always has a backup plan.
Yeah.
And a backup to the backup plan. So when Danny left, he probably already knew that he was going to take that job in Utah.
I think he did.
I think that just gave the organization the opportunity for Danny to walk away and
not get fired. Right.
To, as you say, fire Brad going up. So I think that's what it really kind of boiled down to. He helped the organization by knowing what he wanted to do, because Danny doesn't leave a job to me if Danny did not have a job already in place.
That's Danny.
People call me crazy, whatever it is, but I know Danny Ainge, and I've been around him enough to know who Danny is as a person.
How much credit does Brad deserve for this whole run?
A lot.
Ime number one.
How about this?
That's the big one.
Brad deserves a lot because, hey, Brad didn't trade either one of those superstars.
So true. We were all kind of saying it.
And a lot of us, including me, it was sitting there. Only person I know out of the four of us right now is Joe Sway. Joe Sway said, look, you got to let those guys grow.
Bobby did too
together. And I was like,
me and you, Max.
Screw that.
Bobby was talking about
because Bobby defended it too. Bobby didn't want to break them up either.
Rebuild it for the draft.
I wasn't talking about trade. I said you can never trade Brown. He's too good.
It was so bad. And what we forget, guys, it's easy to forget, the occurrences in the prior to the season, so leading to Danny leaving and everything else, the Kyrie thing, the year before, all that's got to factor in. There was something mechanically broken with this team, and we were all saying it. Max, on the way home from the games, it was, I'm tired of trying to figure it out. They're broke. Well, they were broke.
The roster you look back a year ago at who was playing: Tristan, Romeo Langford, Jeff Teague. I mean, that was a terrible roster looking back on it. And they let Hayward go and didn't replace him with anything until Fournier came in, who I liked but couldn't play defense.
Fournier, yeah.
And Kemba was hurt all. Kemba was hurt all year.
That's why you say Brad gets a lot of credit in this thing for some of the moves that he did not make, and then for some of the moves he made. I didn't know Derek White was that good. Frankly, I did not.
I didn't either.
Around the game a lot, I did not know Derek White was that good. That he was going to help this team like that. That he's been a backup point guard. He is a good defender. He can guard multiple positions. Now that he's starting to knock down a few shots, he's showing
Man,
me that much more.
how good was he defending Curry last night?
Oh, yeah.
All over him.
Yeah.
One of the best players in that game, period. And you talked about the shot, Max. Leaning in on Curry, giving him the little bump, hitting it over him, and Damon Stoudemire's on the bench just going, what?
Yeah, I mean, in that shot, if you want to go back and look at something that's real funny, Curry played as well as he could play it.
Yeah.
And Derek bumped him away, took the shot. Curry runs by him, turns around and looks, and the ball goes in, and then he turns around and drops his arms.
Yeah.
And looks at Derek White like, you got to be kidding me.
Curry's body language.
Shot. That's my shot.
My shot. Yeah.
That shot. You don't shoot that shot. So,
Curry's body language was incredible to see.
The Celtics in that game outdid the Warriors at their own game. It boiled down to that. The Warriors normally will blitz a team, and then that's it. They don't come back. In the fourth quarter, the Celtics did to the Warriors what the Warriors have done to everybody else. You know, they get in and they score. They get you in the fourth quarter. They hadn't lost at home. They had not lost at home.
Yep.
People around the building.
And they're the kings of the fourth quarter.
But we're also forgetting the Celtics broke the win streak, broke the home win streak. They are not afraid of San Francisco, whether it was Oracle
but Nick, this is
this is the NBA Finals. I know.
The NBA Finals. I'm not talking about regular season.
Max,
the team on the second night were back to back.
Yeah.
This is you. And the Warriors were the rested team.
Yeah.
The rested team.
That could have been the problem. That's why
it could have been the problem, but they were the rested, healthy team coming into their building winning.
You know what?
That to me,
Did you like having when you were playing, Max, did you like having more time off in a situation like this or less time?
You know what? The times that we won the championship, we didn't get that much time off. I mean, the ones I won, because in '81, we took Philly to 7 games, and then had to go. And the Rockets had played early, and they had lost. In '84, the Knicks took us to 7 games, and who was over there waiting? The Lakers were the rest of the team. So I think it kind of goes back and forth, but I just believe at this time of the year, your adrenaline is pumped up so much that it doesn't make any difference about, as long as you get a little rest. So I think, as Nick is saying right now, maybe too much rest. Will bring rust to your body because of all the things you're doing or not doing.
I think that, combined with the too cool for school meant. I mean, the Warriors have really surprised me how
it was overwhelming at media day. Yeah, these guys, they're like us. They're up and coming.
But the thing about it is great. Keep doing it. Keep giving them bulletin board material. Keep it up, because we're going to ram it in their faces as media. We're going to talk about it all the time. So gives us more to talk about. Keep Draymond talking. If the Celtics, all right, this is good timing. So while I ask this question, if anybody in the chat room has a question for Bobby or Max, put it in the chat. Amit will put it up for us. In the meantime, give me your keys to game 2, Max, and then we'll wrap that with you, Bobby. Go ahead, Max.
Keys to game 2. Getting off to a good start. Not turning the basketball over. Having a better connection on the defensive end. Early in that game, they did not have a connection at all. Because Steph Curry does not get 5 3-point shots all by himself. Matter of fact,
talking.
The one shot, he was so open that he had to slow down, tap his feet, get his rhythm, because he was looking like, where's the defenders at? So those are the things that mean good start, not turn the ball over, and being connected with Steph. Don't worry about your offense, because Brown and Tatum's going to get on. Tatum is due to have one of those games, and that's what
50.
should be. That should be the scary part for the Golden State Warriors.
Bobby,
I think you got to keep getting after Curry. This was one of our keys to the series, Nick, is could you attack those guards? And they were after Curry early and often. He gets 5 fouls. I mean, he's frustrated. He's committing offensive fouls. He's getting tired. He hit 6 threes in the first and had 1 the rest of the way. So they did a tremendous job at that. They've done that all postseason. They were attacking Kyrie in round 1 and Dragic. Round 2, they're attacking Grayson Allen. Round 3, they're going after Duncan Robinson.
Grayson
and other
Allen
guys.
took a beating in that
Yeah,
series. Grant Williams just ripped him apart.
Hey,
he was on a mission.
You know what?
He's the key.
Here's something else. This is why I said the Celtics got another gear to go to. Grant Williams, who has been so good for your team, wasn't even involved in this game at all. He was a non-factor in this game. I don't think he might have had a couple of baskets, but Grant has been big in these games that you won on the road with his ability to knock down the tray and to defend the basketball. That's why I said the Celtics yet have another option that they didn't even get a chance to use.
They have another gear to kick in.
I'll tell you, that's another guy who's been getting beat up.
And the Garden is going to bring another gear. I mean, how crazy are those fans going to be if the Celtics come back 2-0? Even
the
1-1,
energy every
crazy?
series. Yeah,
Talk
the energy every
Bobby.
series is ratcheted up. It's been insane. And you know what I love about this crowd, Max? They're locked in, like, to the game. There'll be little things in the game happening that they react to. Like, I remember
in Boston
Pritchard
or in San Fran?
In Boston. Yeah. Pritchard was switched on. Pritchard was switched on to Jimmy Butler for a play in the Garden, and he's holding them. The shot clock's ticking down, and you could just really hear the crowd going, ooh, because he had them. And there's been moments like that throughout the playoffs that I've just loved. The Celtics fans are just locked in right now.
Bobby, it has been refreshing. I think Max would agree. We're not seeing the wave anymore. I mean, the real fans
we did at different points this year. There's been a few waves, Max.
No, it was when the games were bad. The fans were doing the freaking wave.
At the Kings game, right? I think that was.
I couldn't believe it when I saw it. And Scal was like encouraging them.
As soon as that person stands up and starts going 1, 2, 3, and I want somebody to tase his ass. So he can just fall right down because I get tired. That is not Boston. That's not NBA basketball.
No.
The damn wave is not.
I'll tell you though,
Max was going to do an op-ed on it. He was going to do an op-ed on it.
Wave was how many years ago? Was that 30 years ago?
25?
I'll tell you though, imagine you're the road team in Boston and you're getting blown out, and all of a sudden the wave just starts going around your head.
They
that
might
must
as well do
like
the Macarena. Yeah, I'm going to tell you, Max would be on the radio calling the game. Did they just do the wave? That the whole game would stop. Did I just see the wave?
Yeah,
between that and the jumbotron.
I'm one of these people who say, could you please stop? And that was Red Auerbach's statement. Red Auerbach said that about entertainment, in-house entertainment. Mm-hmm. And he was
good.
He said, you have to be over my dead body before I see some dancers on the floor when I'm there. Sure enough, he died before
he died the next day
on the floor. But so I mean, it's just Red Auerbach just say one thing. He said entertainment. He said that's what the freaking
that's the game. Yeah,
that's what the game is for. Entertainment. If you want entertainment, go out and get you a hot dog and a drink and a soda and come back in and come back in and watch the game. But I understand the in-house stuff now. You know what? I realize it, but I don't like it. But I kind of like it at the same time. But it's just
that's Miami, right? The clubs in there.
It's all of them, man. It's to shoot that. Okay, we're gonna bring the person out, and they're gonna shoot the basketball into these three drums. Yeah. And they're going to get a
We're going to put Lucky on a
You get the guy climbing the chairs into the sky.
Lucky flying around or look up, here comes
parachuted T-shirts.
A parachute. Oh, hold on a minute. Here comes the T-shirt drop. You know how many people have gotten hurt? I saw a guy, the T-shirt was being thrown. This guy just hurled his body to get gets his T-shirt and hits this woman and breaks her nose. It was like, I mean, it was a freaking T-shirt. Man. It was a T-shirt. And that's why I said sometimes to me, the entertainment, I do understand where we're at. I understand the 2000s or wherever we're at, 2020. But I still kind of sometimes just shake my head when I think about the entertainment value that goes on in these games.
So no beat LA chant. What's going to be the taunting chant for the Warriors? It could be Draymond Green. It might be
for the Warriors. I can't see.
Draymond's going to say something tomorrow night.
They'll get after Green.
the only Warrior that you think
It's unlikely.
presents, the point of being a villain is Draymond.
Yeah, he
Like
does
the
it well.
only Celtic that presents to be a villain is Marcus Smart. And
Yeah.
even last night in that game, Marcus Smart wasn't booed as much as I think people would
I was
have done with
surprised
Yeah.
because he hurt Curry. Remember, he fell on Curry's foot in
That
that
was
game.
so overblown. What's going on with Kerr? I mean, why would
Dude,
you even
you're in-
say that?
Hell, you're in San Francisco. These are some of the most polite people around.
They are so nice out
They
in
are
San Fran.
just so nice. Give me, I'm going to Starbucks to get my tea, and
They're
then
so nice.
Give me a chai and
Chai tea latte,
oh
mocha
my
drinking.
God, they're so freaking polite here. It's scary. Where as you think of native New Yorkers, they're just get out of my damn way. San Francisco isn't like that.
All right, we got questions here from the chat room, and then we're going to wrap because we've been on for a little over an hour. I sound like John Zanis. We'll put a bow on this, bow on it, circle back, and
30
ask
more,
these questions.
30 more minutes.
30, yeah, and then it'll be 90 more minutes. So, Max, you see the screen, Max? The questions are there for you guys.
Okay,
do
go
the
ahead.
Celtics
Nick.
retire Horford's number?
No.
Not even if they win?
No.
Ooh, cornbread.
I like Al.
Is this what you think will happen, or what you think
No,
should
I
happen?
just don't see that happening. That you're talking about retiring Al's number, unless he wins the multiple championships, which could happen.
Could happen.
If he becomes the MVP, maybe that
Could happen.
happens. But right now, if you're saying his body of work with this team, I would say no.
Well,
How about
Nick,
Marcus?
I want to hit on Horford. I want to hit on Horford quick.
Good.
One person has already hung up Horford's jersey, as you know.
Where I thought you would have brought it on the road with you, Bobby. It's not behind you right there. I thought it would have come on the road with you. It's already enshrined in the Manning house.
Yes, it was after his first stint here, and I'm probably the wrong person to ask about this because I'm probably the biggest Horford fan there is. But
And
he did
Josue
change
is
some.
too.
He did change things when he came here. Biggest free agent acquisition in Celtics history.
Yep.
Brought, I think, respect to the franchise
Yep.
again for the first time since KG and Allen left and Pierce.
Well,
And-
he was bigger than bigger than Kevin
It was
Garnett.
before Kevin
Well,
Garnett
no,
was
Garnett wasn't a free agent.
Free agent.
Okay.
Garnett
So a
was
guy who
trade.
kind of,
Garnett
I guess
had his
Garnett.
choice, though.
Yeah, he did.
But
So-
technically, we gave up assets to get Garnett.
No, I mean, that's similar, as Max says. Like
It
Garnett
is similar,
had
but you
agree
got to
to
make
come
the
here.
differentiation because we get accused constantly of being super team builders, and that was a trade. And it was a painful trade. It was late in the offseason. I think it was in
They gave
September.
up a lot.
They gave up
They
the
gave
whole
up a lot
team.
in that trade.
And a lot of
Yeah,
guys,
but
Tommy
Horford-
Hines and Cedric Maxwell, did not want. They wanted to keep Al Jefferson.
But
Yeah,
you remember
there's a lot
Horford? Horford almost brought Durant with him.
Yeah.
2 years in a row they're in the East Finals, and I know it's a championship thing. You're going to need a championship. You're going to need perhaps multiple, as Max said there. But what he's done here through various different teams, leadership on the court, off the court, I just feel like there's intangibles with him beyond the numbers and everything else that really just made him a special Celtic. And I love the fact that he's going to be associated with the Celtics, not the Hawks, not the Sixers.
I like the fact he's been associated with the Celtics. I've always thought that Al could be, in my parlance, I thought he could be more vocal.
Mm-hmm. He has been this year, Max.
I mean, this year, but I'm just saying from the time he got here, if you're one of those top free agents that comes in and you're changing the culture of your team, you're a little bit more vocal. You're a little bit more take charge.
Didn't Isaiah suck the life out of that?
Can I tell this?
And maybe because Kevin Garnett was that kind of take charge guy, you look for Al, who was a big time free agent, to come in. And I know the personalities are completely different. I understand that. But that would be one of the things that I looked at. And now I see Al emerging as that guy.
Oh, yeah. I mean, he's going to be an assistant coach.
I will never forget that game in Milwaukee where Giannis dunks over him. And I think Anna posted the video of him going.
That face.
That is never.
Okay.
Yep, I'm never gonna forget that moment. And 2 plays later, he up fakes, drives, and just pounds it on him and sends him to the floor.
That was
I'll never get over that moment.
That may be, you think about it. so far this year, the playoffs, that might have been the most iconic moment that I could think about. That dunk that he had on Giannis. I can't think of anything else. And maybe the callers can let me know, but I can't think of another play that I went.
Maybe
Oh
that
my
Tatum
God.
play in Game 1 against Brooklyn, the full court score for the win. But that's the only one in the
that was
conversation.
incredible.
That didn't do it for me like
it did for me.
Because it was Al. It was moving
Al's
the
age.
basketball. That was great. I understand that. But Al, that play of him isoing and Bobby said up fake, goes in, dunks it, and hits him with an elbow,
and then
comes off and starts yelling. That to me, that play was the.
It woke up the team. They were down double digits.
Oh man, that was ridiculous. That was
all right.
That was ridiculous.
Let's move to the next question. So we don't want to stay here all night. Who's Mac's all-time favorite teammate? I know this.
Robert Parrish. Chief has always been my guy. Because I played, and a lot of people don't know this. I played against him when I was in college, and got a great story from our guy James Worthy. James Worthy with the Lakers, who I have gone back and forth with now. He said, "Max, you'll never believe it." And he said, "I was at the game because I was from Gastonia.
Listen to this, Bobby.
When you were in college." He said, "I was in high school, and I saw you and Robert Parrish playing in Charlotte at the Coliseum." He said, "You were one of my favorite players." So I've known Robert since he was, I think I was a sophomore in college. I had the chance, and then growing with him in the NBA, he's always been one of my favorite dudes.
That's a great
Where'd
question.
Parrish go to college?
Centenary University in Louisiana.
They had a
Shreveport.
scandal, didn't they?
Not that I know of.
I think they had a scandal about the it doesn't matter, about the SATs or something.
Oh,
It's
some
something to do
stupid
with testing.
academic thing.
Yeah, they were banned for a year from the tournament his first year, I think, or something. I'll have to ask him. Is he coming in? Is he coming to the game up here?
That I don't know. I haven't
I
talked
hope
to
so.
him.
We got to get alumni here.
I would
Anyway,
love-
cue the
I would
next
love for
question.
I would love for him to be there.
Amit, you want to throw the next question up? Sorry, guys. All right, here we go. That's for you, Bobby. Wow, Bobby the face. Getting pointed questions.
Why was Wiggins not guarding Brown on that run? I think too much guards on wings, but that's what's going to happen when you're switching defense. Max, this is the game now. Teams are hunting mismatches, and the biggest difference between these two teams, you don't have a mismatch on the Celtics that you can go after. Who are you going to go after on the Boston defense?
That really is so true, because you think over the years, Kimba was a target
Mm-hmm.
when he got on the floor. They always tried to go at Kimba, or they turned around when Isaiah was here.
Mm-hmm.
They went at Isaiah. I can tell you what, when Kyrie was here, Kyrie might have been the guy that they might try.
Oh, was he didn't play defense?
Have attack. So there is nobody on the Celtic team that's
Rondo
a weak defense. Rondo in tried.
Remember they used to dare him.
Yeah, there's no guy that I see that's a weak link, and that's what makes the Celtics switching so good, because you're switching players, and normally it's strength to strength. And
did guys get attacked the way they do now when you played, Max? Were teams mismatch hunting? Is that a thing back then?
There's Johnny Most said that about me and Kurt Rambis. So Maxwell's making Rambis right now look ridiculous.
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 That was
that kind of hunting was always there.
And as you're saying that, I'm thinking about the Knicks series. You mentioned it in *84. That's an under-discussed series, and that's all they were talking about was your matchup with Bernard King.
Bernard
QB
King.
Brown was game planning for you, and da-da-da-da. If you guys get a chance, watch '84 Knicks Celtics. It's a great series.
Bernard King, one of the most underrated players ever, I'd say.
Absolutely. I hate it. I hate it for him, but yeah, he was. I got to give the devil his.
I loved your chapter in the book about him, Max. You were just like, oh my God, this guy.
Okay, let's go rapid fire. Cue it up, Amit. All right, we got where is Josue? That's a good one. Josue is in Brockton. Looking for his Wi-Fi. Yeah, looking for his Wi-Fi. Max, have a great story with Tommy. This is a great question.
Tommy, there was always 1,000 of them, but I did not know when I first got to the league, 1977, my first game, first regular season game, we're at the Garden. And I see JoJo to my right, and I see JoJo go in his sock and pull out a Terran cigarette. And he's still and I'm looking at him like, damn, I can't believe that. I know, and Tommy Heinsohn's my head coach. I know Tommy's gonna say something to him. So I look up at the chalkboard and Tommy's smoking. That was like that. It just blew me away that the head coach and one of our players were smoking at the time. Close your mouth, Bobby. It did happen.
I can't. I'm thinking of the beer. How are guys drinking beer at halftime before games? That blows my mind.
Nobody drink it. Nobody that I know of. Nobody drank it at halftime. It was a beverage. It was a beverage which was consumed after the game.
Post game. Okay. That I could see as recently as Jordan, but you'll never see anything like that today. I think Bob Ryan talks they used to have beer in the press box too, which I can't imagine now either.
Could Al win the MVP, the Finals MVP?
I thought he should have been the East Finals MVP. What do you think about that?
Nah, East Finals MVP.
It was Tatum?
No, it wasn't Tatum. It was Jimmy Butler.
Oh,
Butler.
Thank God you didn't have to give it to Butler.
You don't think it was Butler?
Oh, I mean, normally it's not on the losing team.
And the losing team can win sometimes, and it does happen. But Jimmy Butler in that series was more dominant than anybody. Man, the two games, not the one game, the two games he had, Game 6 and Game 7, and almost won it. Went for the winning shot in Game 7.
How awkward would it have been to hand? What was he going to do?
But Al,
I know.
Could Al win it? If Al plays this way, Al could be a Finals MVP. He could definitely. He could do it if he could. But I just don't think he's going to get shot opportunities.
He doesn't need to.
Got any more in this game? Because Golden State has to cover that. So I just don't see Al getting those looks, the clean looks like he did in this last game.
Wow, I can't believe Bowen. I don't think that's a crazy take, but it's a bold one.
I thought Jimmy Butler was absolutely the MVP, but that would have been so awkward for the first award.
It just
would have been appropriate. Yeah. The first Finals MVP went to Jerry West on a losing team.
Right.
Was it?
I mean, yeah. I mean, we're probably not going to do that, but he was so dominant in that
How
game.
awkward would that have been, Max? It would have screwed up. How about them damn Celtics? No, you would have turned around after giving it to Butler and said, now how about them damn Celtics?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you
would have T-shirts, Max.
But it was already passed already. We did the trophy already to the Celtics, and then that would have meant that Jimmy Butler would have had to come back out and receive it, or we'd have left it there on the podium. Because I can't imagine him coming back. And as a player, I mean, it would be demoralizing to me. I mean, sacrilegious if you think a guy comes back in after he lost the series to get a Finals MVP trophy. I mean, and it happened to me. It happened to me in 1976 in NIT. Yeah, I was on the losing team, but I was so dominant during that time that I was the MVP of the NIT on the losing team. We were in the finals against Kentucky. I had a big game. We lost Kentucky, but I was the MVP of that series. Yeah, my junior year.
Max, here's one for you. Stylistically, from your era, whether it's a teammate or opponent, doesn't matter. Who do Tatum and Brown remind you of? Stylistically.
Wow.
At their best.
At their best, Kiki Vandeweghe and Alex English.
Kiki
two guys that could score on anybody. I mean,
Kiki
they pushed the ball. They were shooters. They were two young, dynamic players who could get it done, running the floor, and that's old time. I don't know anybody who has those kind of bookie and forwards anymore. When you think about how their talent level is in this league,
that's a special thing to have. Yeah,
I would say to a certain degree, definitely not Mikal and Bird, but maybe you and Bird, Max, in your prime years and his young years.
My years and Larry's, I think
Brown, him, Tatum, maybe.
I think that And I think
You guys
that's
have chemistry.
I think that's generous of you, but I still look at Brown. I think that Brown and Tatum, their talent level surpasses anything I know. Now, they weren't as good as Larry Bird,
No.
but when it came to putting me in that name with them, I just don't see myself
Max,
being in there. No,
I never heard. I thought I gave you the bait to talk as much noise as you wanted to.
Look, Nick, you don't have to talk a lot of noise.
I know.
When you are a Finals MVP, you don't have to talk a lot of noise.
And I never.
That's a very, very short list of people, and not being arrogant, not being whatever it is, but that's just a fact.
I said in our preview show, Max, the one guy you can't let win Finals MVP in this series is Grant Williams, because you will never, until the day he dies, you'll never hear the end of Grant Williams Finals MVP.
And hopefully they give him a watch if they do, because that was the best. If to the listeners who don't know, we have great video, great.
They might have to release them. They might have to release them
Yeah.
from the team so they can just stop hearing about it. After
We have
that.
some great film of Max showing his
non-stop talking. He would be.
He would be. What was I going to say there? Max, a Bill Russell story? Flips you off all the time?
Here's the thing. I didn't know enough about Russell. I didn't play with him. He was not around. I hear different stories about Tommy Heinsohn and just how good he was. My only recollection is one, I saw a movie with called the Green Book. I think it was the Green Book, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was Green Book. Yep.
The Green Book. And they talked about, it was a book about people of color during the 50s and the 60s. If they wanted to go to a hotel, they had a Green Book, which gave them segregated hotel rooms that they could go to in different towns. And it was a famous concert pianist who was in New York, who was touring the entire South, and he was using the Green Book to go around. And he finally got to, I want to say Birmingham, Alabama, or something. Mm-hmm. And he was going into a restaurant he wanted to eat because he was playing there, and they wouldn't allow him to go there. And the restaurant owner said, "Yeah, but let me just tell you a story." He said, "The world famous Boston Celtics won the world championship, and they came through here, and they're big kahuna." And he was talking about Bill Russell, that. And the guy said, and he looked at him, and then he said, "I don't know, but I could tell you what, it wasn't here." And that made me really feel like, wow, what a story that is, of the shoulders of a giant that I've stood on. When I look at him, I look at Tom Heinsohn, I look at especially the guys of color who played during that time. Casey Jones, Sam Jones, who told the story to me, how he was so quick with everything. He said, I want to say Fort Wayne, Indiana, or someplace, that he beat all the guys to the lunch counter. And he gets there with his tray, and the lady looks at him and looks at him and says, "Sir, I can't serve you." So what do you mean? He said, we don't serve blacks here, or colors. We don't serve colors here. And he said he was just demoralized on about how that was. And he said Cousy and them, they end up bringing food to him from that particular restaurant. And it's just strange because, again, here those players were entertaining the masses, but the masses would not allow them to eat in the same restaurant.
I think that's where Sam, they all left, didn't they? They boycotted. Russell, Sam, Casey. That's when they came home, and Red said go home. Isn't that when they boycotted? I'm pretty sure.
I don't know if, and I know Red is that kind of person. He was yep. about protecting people and all that, but I don't remember a story like that where he stood his ground and said, "Look, we're not going to play."
You're going to get the video next because you'll love that story. It's an interesting one. I got another question. Any Rick Barry sightings?
Haven't seen Rick.
Ooh.
In his own mind, Rick Barry is every place. Okay. Say that.
You know who I did see? I'm sure you saw him too out there, Max. Was I can't think of his name.
Great, good timing. Who is it?
Bill Walton. Bill Walton was in there.
Bill Walton was there.
He was in the press conference room, just sitting there, taking it in, laughing. I was like, "What is this guy doing?"
I did not.
Everybody loves Walton.
Because Bill Walton always tells me all the time, oh my God, Max.
Thank you.
You thank you for giving your life for me. Getting traded to the Clippers. You gave your basketball life. I'm like,
You
Bill,
gave your life to me.
I had very little to do with that trade. They wanted me gone. I wanted to be gone. You wanted to be in Boston. I wanted to be out. So that's why that deal worked the way it did.
Yeah. Well, last question, guys, and we'll wrap. I'll do a Xanis. We've been here over an hour. Don't forget to go to Discord.
We did put a bow on
Discord.com/CLNS Media. We got to put a bow on this, and there's the lower third. So here's my bow. Can I ask you guys? Now, you're in San Francisco. You have no idea, so I'm going to set the stage for you quick. Everything in Boston right now is green. The skyline, there's flag, Celtics flags at the hotels. The restaurants are totally on TV cheering on the
Nick,
Celtics.
Nick, right across the street from me. I wish I could turn to see you. There's a rainbow colored flag right in front of my hotel room.
Oh, that is terrific.
So again,
that's not. You didn't let me ask the question.
No, that was the answer before you even got
there. That wasn't the question. I was gonna say the only people that do not in Boston that do not seem happy or seem in pain to congratulate the Celtics. I won't mention names, Felger, is the talking heads on both stations. Why the hell does it pain them to say congratulations? They deserved it. It's the only team in Boston.
Because Nick, like I know, bad news sells.
Yeah, but it seems manufactured.
Good news has never sold jack nothing.
Unless you're Tom Brady.
You really got this. You get this, unbelievable story about somebody did something. People don't remember that more than somebody who did something bad. And that's the nature of Boston. And
unless you're Tom Brady.
And that is why people and I love Michael Felger.
I do too.
And Adam Jones and people like that become so popular because one thing you do when you complain all the time, and you'll love this, Nick. I used to use this back when I worked in Charlotte. What it does, Adam Jones does, and what you have in Michael Felger and Holly, what they do, they scratch the common man's ass. That's what they do. By being what they say and arguing and oh my God, I love that with Marcus Smart. We almost lost. It was almost like celebrating that we almost lost instead of they won. We almost lost because it's crazy when I hear people talk about stuff like that. But that's just the nature of the game, and this is how.
Well, there's never been a team like this. There's never been a team like this either in Celtics history I can think of that was just horrendous to start the year, and everyone was in agony.
Maybe.
To this day, I mean,
they were pretty bad. They were barely 500 at the All-Star break.
Yeah, but they had won a championship, and
they were still
different
bigger
context.
personalities.
I asked Adam Jones that right on his show one day when I went in there after a Celtic win because he hates Marcus that bad. I said,
he hates him.
I said, you would be happier if the Celtics lost, wouldn't you? He said, absolutely. I have a lot more to talk about. So
and that's the thing. Like, let me make it clear.
Bad news runs ratings.
It creates conversations.
Yeah.
And I think Felger is the best in the business. So I don't want the chat room to think I'm bashing him. Where I think it crosses the line.
I'm bashing him.
I know you are, but he'll cower down to you in 1 second, Max. I've seen him do it. So where he crosses the line, Felger, is when he manufactures stuff, when he makes up moods and manufactures. Like, he is so mad that the Celtics are in the finals and Tom Brady is in Tampa Bay. And he basically will take it out on Marcus nonstop instead of saying they would not be in the finals if it wasn't for Marcus Smart. Yeah, period. Hands down.
Absolutely.
Hands down.
I think, but here's the thing that I'll say, and this is before we go, and this is one thing I want to get Felger on my podcast.
Yeah, you have to.
And the reason I want him on my podcast is because of just the power of the mind. And what I mean by that is Michael Felger has to know every game, every subject. If especially at this time of year, he has to know about baseball. He has to know about basketball. He has to know about who's being recruited.
Bruins.
He has to know about the Bruins. I mean, I couldn't do his job because there's too much information that would just explode my mind.
That is what he's great at.
He's so good at it.
I have enough dealing with the Celtics. But if you throw in the Red Sox and you go to the backup pitcher and then you go to the backup goalie and then you might sprinkle in a little bit of college basketball or this, that, the other. That to me is the brilliance of him because there's no way I could take. And then you have to have enough entertainment stuff in you that you're able to, again, scratch the common man's ass.
I was just gonna say
4 hours. You got to do that.
It's a lot of time.
It's a little itch back there, someplace that you're just digging at. But he is so good at putting that finger back there, going, and you're just going, "Oh yeah, right there, buddy." Right there. Yeah,
no, it's true. And the one guy that's been very quiet. We'll wrap with this. Is Merloni, Louis Merloni is not saying too much about Average Al right now.
What an infamous line.
But Lou doesn't.
He doesn't know basketball.
Lou, that's it. Lou doesn't know. I mean, Falcon doesn't either, but he has more of a.
Maz does.
Well, Maz
a little better than Felger.
Maz knows about baseball.
He's a baseball
knows about baseball. He's got baseball. Felger knows about hockey. Lou Maloney knows about baseball. But when I listen to Lou Maloney talk about basketball, I'm just looking at. Are you serious?
That's the thing about basketball. There's some guys that just aren't stats guys, but they're enormously impactful.
Only in America. Basketball's ginormously huge all over the world. In America, it has become fashionable to not like basketball on certain sectors of people, I think.
That's
sadly.
True. I understand that because we did get shut up and dribble. And I think it was.
Yeah, there's obviously an underlying thing there.
There is.
I was very proud of, and it was going two ways when it was JJ Redick. He went one way with me, and then another way. I was for him another way. He lost him. The way I was with him was when he was on with
Mad Dog.
And Mad Dog was talking about Draymond Green and told him, "Man, just shut up." And he went and said, "You don't say. You don't say that when I'm around. You have to be held accountable for that because there is no way that you should be on the air talking about a basketball player like that." And
then he went and called legends, firemen, and plumbers.
This whole shut up and dribble, and you're a white male. He said, "No, that doesn't work for me." But then he went to the flip side when Bob Cousy.
So wrong.
Bob Cousy.
Bob Cousy was.
If Bob Cousy. And what he said, JJ Redick said something to the effect of time when
plumbers and firemen
where that's who was playing basketball.
It's such a bad.
Bob Cousy just
it was great, Max.
Up in the most
lit him up,
honorable way that I've seen a guy come back.
But he goes, Max. He goes.
Only other guy, and I'm waiting to get this, but you'll hear me do it one day. But only one other guy I saw do something like this, and it was Michael Strahan. And he was talking to this reporter, and this reporter was like, "Well, Michael, I think this, and I think that, and this, that." And Michael Strahan turned and looked at him and said, "When's the last time you had a hell no, I won't say that. A football uniform on?" And he said, "I know. It's the last time your mom dressed you up for Halloween." And it was so like, slap the hell out of him, and that just like dropped the mic. I've always wanted to talk to Michael Strahan about that point. He was just brilliant.
Off season, we got to get him on your show for sure.
Yeah, I would.
And Felger's a good one.
I would love to talk to him.
Well, guys, game 2 Sunday. You're in San Francisco. Cedric Maxwell, thanks so much for joining us. Right. Bobby, you guys have any closing thoughts? Cedric, Max, you have any?
No, got him out. Yeah.
Bobby, you don't have any?
No, we said it all. We've been here.
I mean, I think the only thing about game 2 is Golden State has to win. Mm-hmm. They have to win that game. I think we all agree that they have to win that game. If they don't win that game, this series is over.
Yeah, there's blood. With that, guys, Have a great night. We will see you tomorrow, and we'll see after game 2. But tomorrow there'll be, I'm sure that John has.
And I won't be back.
Practice.
I won't be back no time soon. This bleacher
Practice.
thing right now. I'm listening to you guys. I really appreciate all your comments about my storytelling and.
Are they trashing you, Max?
Untrue, that I'm unleashed, I'm unhinged, but I'm that grandfather right now who really doesn't give a damn right now when I'm talking. So I'll chop it up.
Well, let's put it this way:
everything.
You'll end up in timeout, guys, in the chat room. Max is the man. I hope you're not bashing Max, man. Come on.
No, I don't mind. Please,
you love it.
Please bash me. You know me, Nick. If you want to bash me,
do it loud.
All I want you to do is let me respond to you. Don't come out like a coward and say something. But I just like the fact that if you want to bash me, let me at least engage you about why you're bashing me, and my opinion and yours, because your opinion counts just as much as mine. But sometimes my facts about a particular subject, it's about basketball, might be a little bit more than yours.
He did play. Anyway, he'll be back. Don't worry. Is it that bad?
No, I had a good time. But, I don't get paid for
one and done.
Brother.
Guys, see you after game 2. Max, thank you. Bobby, thank you. Chat room, thank you. Good night.